Hey guys, welcome in. Sorry about the little mishap earlier. I know people were in here, but I actually had some internet issues and things weren't working right, but we got them fixed. We're here. We're back. We're ready to go. So thanks so much for tuning in. The last stream we did was a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to kind of showing you and going throughout what might have changed from just a couple days ago where OpTic earned a 3-0 over New York to this one where it didn't quite go how we all probably expected it to go. So here in a bit, once we allow people a little bit more time to get back in here, we are going to go through, watch the three maps, kind of break down what we saw, what changed, what happened, what might have went wrong, and all that good stuff. So as we go ahead and bring up the bracket here, again, remember this was just a couple short days ago where on Thursday, OpTic earned this 3-0 over New York. This is actually the last stream that we did where we came in, we broke it down, went through everything, showed you how OpTic was able to get that win, which propelled them into this here against Dallas, where they choked the map 5 round 11 to fall down to losers. And then, of course, OpTic went through, got the victory over LA Thieves today. Looked really good in that one to me. Honestly, they seemed like they were probably a little bit unstoppable. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe that I got from them today after that LA Thieves match. And then, of course, they came into this dreaded matchup against OpTic. And what can you say? Clayster had his dudes ready to go. They came out, they shredded, they played exactly how you would expect a Clayster team to play, and Diamond Con looked unbelievable. I mean, Diamond Con came out, and I don't think anybody could have predicted that he would have played just that well. I think we probably could have predicted that he would have played decently, but for a rookie in that moment, a knockout match to go to losers bracket finals and to play like that against a squad like OpTic, I mean, it was unbelievable. So got to give props where props are due. But with that, let's settle in here and let's start breaking some of it down. Now, one thing I will say, I think that OpTic might have had a little bit of, I think their confidence might have been just slightly too high because they came into this first map here on Crossroads. And I think because of, the performance that they had earlier against LA Thieves, I think that they just kind of figured that, okay, this is another one of our maps. We've played really well on it. We were able to get a 250 to 190 victory against LA Thieves on this map. So my guess would be that they probably had quite a bit of confidence and they were ready to go. And yeah, Matrix in the chat, I 1000% agree, says OpTic was probably already looking towards facing FaZe and or Empire. And yeah, I think you're probably onto something there. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's get this first map rolling here. But as around here, biggest thing just to notice right off the rip here is obviously that Chicago doesn't have those initial spawns that they want. I see this all the time. Every time I've really watched them scrim this, I see them always push out the bottom side of the map and try to flip spawns initially. It's something that I've just from watching so many scrims and doing so many breakdowns like that, it's just kind of what I expect them to do. However, Envoy was the only one that got through towards the bottom of the map. And after that failed, then they had to go back over towards P1, and they're still not getting any of that time. So they're already down by 20, and just now it looks like the spawn flip is coming through. But I'll tell you, if you're not absolutely shredding on a map like Crossroads, this is one that it's just super tough to lock down any of these spawns. If you get, now, P2 is what it is. Sometimes if you're frying, you can lock down Cat and the push through P1 on the top side of the map. But if you're not, and you're just kind of winning half of your gun battles and stuff like that, it can be kind of tough. And then from there, you just got to hold down for P3 and P4. Obviously, right now, as it stands, because they're still playing on the, the older patch where they haven't come through and made the changes to P4 yet to put P4 down towards ice. But as it stands right now, you just got to try to hold those P4 spawns. And if you're able to do that, then it's much easier. But still, I mean, look at the score. It's just they're getting slayed out. Diamond's only 3 and 5 at this point. But Asim, that entry man, he's 6 and 5. Mac is 7 and 4. And that just kind of goes like to show you that they're just winning their gun battles overall. OpTic has had spawns for this right side P2 for the vast majority of P2, and they were only able to get 27 points in total. And one thing that I like real quick while we're here, I like the fact, I don't think there's anything wrong with what they've been doing so far. So just go back to P1 when they were right off the rip. Obviously P2's over here, they came up off of spawn, and Envoy was able to get all the way down towards the bottom side of the map. He was able to wrap around. He was able to get inside of P2 while it was still on P1. They were able to gain ground and get that right side of the map over here. They just weren't able to then work backwards and get them off of P1 and earn that time. And then as it went over towards P2, they were able to get 27 seconds, but that's just not really, it's not great, right? You really have to start putting some of this time together. And then as it stands right now, obviously we're inside of P3, and I like what Formal's doing. Formal's just hiding over here in the corner underneath the jump up, and you're going to see him try to jump up maybe as soon as they get 1 or 2 down. And once they do, that he can then push out this old P4, this left side rock, get a kill or 2 here or there, and that's how you lock down these spawns. Now, will he be successful at that? I don't know. I mean, that's a different story, right? But as it stands right now, I like where they're at. They're not set up terribly. Formal's just waiting for the opportunity to push up top and gain those backside spawns. But look at the kill feed. Mac, Diamond, Clay, everybody's getting kills in the kill feed. There's nobody else left over there. And now another 17, 18 seconds are coming off the clock inside of P3. And OpTic still hasn't really even been able to gain much ground. Just now you see Scump getting a kill inside the Hardpoint. But with that, even still, I mean, they're inside the Hardpoint, but this is kind of what happens here, okay? This is why this map is so weird. As we're looking at this here, these spawns just came in as it stands right here. So we've got inside right now, OpTic's got 2 people in here, and they've got the third over here towards jump up. But because this is all contested, right? You've got contested area here. You've got contested area there. Because everything's contested, it's really tough to 1,000% lock down where these spawns are going to be. And as it stands right now, Mac ends up getting this spawn on the top side of the map, and Formal ends up getting this spawn on the bottom side of the map. So at this point, it's whoever wins these gun battles right here on the left side of the map is going to be able to lock down this left side spawn. So right now, that spawn isn't accounted for just because there's so much contested area on that left side of the map. And that's one of the parts that I don't love about this map. It's just, it's so small that anytime you get any sort of contested area, like right there, Asim just got the kill on Envoy. And because he was able to get that kill on Envoy and Diamond got the kill on Scump, again, we were watching these gun battles, right? We were watching a gun battle here. We were watching the gun battles inside of P3. All of those, every single one of those gun battles ended up resulting in a New York victory, which put OpTic over here towards the bottom of P2. And now as they try to get back, they have to run through mid or they have to try to go to the jump up. But they lost all of those clutch gun battles. Sometimes you just have to clutch up and you have to be able to win those gun battles. And in this instance, they just didn't do it. So now you've got 13 seconds left inside of P3, and they have spawns for P4. And in a game like this, on a map like this, it's super important to be able to hold down those P4 spawns, because now that they don't have them, they're going to have to try to break through all of these choke points that are very wide open. It's just tough to do. Placer gets a kill on Dashy. Asim gets a kill on Formal. Matt kills Envoy. I mean, they're just winning all the gun battles. Like, there's not really much else other than that you can say. We're going into a listen in here, but that's why it's so tough. I mean, they're spawning over on the top right-hand side of the map. We can't really, and I'll do my best. I can't blow it up right now, but if you can see the mini-map in the bottom left-hand corner, this is all contested. OpTic is just now getting inside that P4 hardpoint, but because they didn't have those initial spawns, it spawns them to the right of P1 over here. So the reason why it's so tough to try to retake that is because you have to go down this long line of sight right here, which normally whatever team you're playing, in this instance, Clayster is going to be on a heady right here watching this push. So that's a really tough push to try to execute. And the only other thing that you can do is try to cut this off and go towards P3. So try to run through here, but then you have to run through this door, which is a choke point. And if you already have control of P4, New York players could be hiding anywhere inside of there. But just now, there's 30 seconds left inside the current hard point, and OpTic is just now getting a little bit of a break, and it's already 125 to 41. So if we're kind of keeping track of what's happening, what's going wrong, off the rip, they tried really hard to push the bottom side of the map to flip for P2, and they were unsuccessful. So they gave up that time inside of P1. And then once it went to P2, they basically split that time, but they lost the left side of the map spawns for P3 and P4. So they weren't able to overtake those. And now they're down by 80 points as it goes back to P1. And as we're watching this here, New York has the right side of the map. So New York is up by 80 points. They have control of P1. They have current spawns for P2. I mean, everything so far, every single rotation has gone against what OpTic was doing, and it's not looking good for them. It is what it is. But again, I can't understate it. I can't overstate it the most. I think one of the biggest issues, or one of the biggest deciding factors in this one overall, was the fact that OpTic just played this Crossroads against LA Thieves, and they earned a fairly easy win on this. So I think going into vetoes, they might have said, you know what? We just got to win over LA Thieves on this map. We know what maps they're going to try to take away from us. So let's just go ahead and let's just play this one again. And might not have been the greatest decision, as right there you can see Diamond gets kills, Mac gets kills, everybody gets slayed out inside of P1. They're keeping those spawns over towards P2. And what New York is doing so well, let me go back just one more second here. So we're about to, we just literally just a couple seconds ago flipped over to P2. So New York has these spawns, but the difference in the P2 setup right now from what we saw earlier is that they're inside of P2, and look where everybody else is. So you have Diamond Con up here just basically applying pressure towards old P1. If he goes down, you have Clay right here over here by Antenna, and he's going to be able to watch the push through P1. And then you have a seam up here towards Catwalk watching the push across Catwalk. So the biggest difference here, and I know that it happens unbelievably fast on this map overall, but the biggest difference is that they're just set up and they're pushed out more towards mid-map, right? All of those gun battles are not happening for New York in this area of the map right here. Instead, they're happening over here towards the middle of the map. And the reason why that changes things is because if you're able to get kills over here in the middle side of the map, that's going to take OpTic and it's going to spawn them out even further. So now as they try to approach from these spawns to get back over to P2, they have to cover all of this ground before they even get back to the 50-yard line before they can start approaching the actual P2 hardpoint. So that's the biggest difference here. So what went wrong? One, they're really not just slaying out, but they didn't do a good job of being able to win those gun battles on P1. They haven't really controlled any of the map positioning. Right here, Dashy gets a kill, Scump gets a kill. So finally, they're able to overtake the right side of the map. You can see right here that spawns have now come in. But again, kind of let's talk about the difference here from what we just saw. Again, I know this all happens really quickly, but now they're in the hard point. But look at where all of these contested gun battles are going to start happening, right? They're more inside of that P2 area rather than, so they're getting gun battles in here rather than getting gun battles out there. And that preserves spawns just a little bit more. So it's interesting to see. It basically, to me, it just feels like New York is always up in their space, right? They never have time to breathe. Whereas when P2 popped, Chicago was trying to get across the the 50-yard line, and New York was there. They were battling them, but those that were in spawn just had more space. They were able to breathe a bit more, and that's really the biggest thing that I noticed just from this. And we'll talk back through it all here towards the end of P1. And we'll also get caught up on chat in just a second. I know that there's a bunch of stuff over in there in chat, so if you have any questions, go ahead and put them through. But this is where, now, again, they're down 111 points, but this is where you could actually start to come back a little bit, right? We saw it in the first set of rotations for New York. Now's the potential where you could see it in the second set of rotations for Chicago, but Chicago or New York in the first set of rotations was able to get a ton of kills inside this hard point. They were able to maintain these spawns, and they were able to get a ton of time inside of P4 when it went to P4. Will OpTic be able to do that? That's the biggest question. Say they end up getting, we'll just say they get 40. 40 points in this hill would be a huge gain, right? If they get 40 from here, and then they're somehow able to keep these spawns and get 40 seconds from here, you add 80. Now, that's a massive gain from both P3 and P4. That's really not something that you see all the time, is 40 seconds go one team's way, especially on a map like Crossroads where everything's so close together. But if they're able to gain 40 points in each of those hills, that's still only going to put them at 160. If we look at the score in the top center, that would be 160 to 191, and they wouldn't have initial spawns on the right-hand side of the map. So, I mean, they just, at this point, it would take a valiant effort to come back, but they just don't. They're already in such a hole that it's super tough to do. Also, 102 people in here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We did one of these on Thursday, this same exact matchup where OpTic absolutely went off. Now we're going to show you the opposite side of that, where Diamond played great, Clayster played well, Mac played great. I mean, New York showed up and they came to play, and you got to give them props. That's kind of what's happening in this league right now, is that everybody is so good that anybody can beat anybody. I mean, we're seeing the run that LAG made. We're seeing the run that New York has made. I will say in this current hardpoint, it was a pretty good job, I guess you could say. But remember, we stopped this just 20, 30 seconds ago, and OpTic was at 80 points. So this hill is almost over, and they're at 98 points. So they're not quite getting that 40-point haul that we talked about when we stopped it earlier. Sure, they're able to gain some ground a little bit, make it a little bit more respectable, but they are not locking down the map by any means. And just as we watch this, there is a massive battle going on towards the bottom of the map. So don't want to overstate this either. Let's go back 5 seconds here. We'll go back 15 seconds. So what I want you to follow, we just watched all of this, but what I want you to follow is this number 6 arrow on the bottom of the map. Who else? Of course, this is Clayster right here. You can see number 6, but he gets this bad spawn, right? Now, I get that OpTic's really trying to get back into the game, but they should be they should have somebody over here watching the push up over towards bottom ice, because you know if you have control of this top part of the map and you're inside of P3, that's going to take your enemies. It's going to spawn them all the way out over towards bottom ice. So as you watch this, what you're going to see is Clayster comes over here. He gets to the jump up, and this is a long, drawn-out gun battle. But in the end, he ends up winning this gun battle right here. And we haven't seen what happens with spawns yet, but what that forces is you're going to see 2 Chicago players come over here to trade that out. And while they push the bottom part of the map to trade that out, New York is getting this top right P1 spawn, and they're able to come back and get inside of this P3 hardpoint. So you can say, okay, OpTic's inside of the hardpoint. They have spawns. Everything's great. But they're forced to deal with Clay towards the bottom of the map. And essentially what this ends up doing is it just doesn't give them the space. It doesn't give them the time to get back into the game. So we'll let this go ahead and we'll play out right here. But while all this is happening, you should be watching down here towards the bottom. And this is one of those things as a spectator, right? If you're trying to learn the game and try to realize like what's happening, how do I become a better Call of Duty player, or how can I get a better idea like who's going to win map to map? This is the stuff towards the bottom of the map that you have to be watching. So again, we can see everything that Formal's doing. He got a kill on Mac inside the hardpoint. Great. But there is a really decisive gun battle going on. Now they switch to it right here. Envoy ends up okay, so towards the end, he did actually end up winning that. But what that allowed is it allowed these arrows from New York to get pushed up, and now they've got control of P3. So while that was happening, these two green arrows pushed down towards the bottom to make sure they took care of Clay. Now they have to try to retreat back to the top part of the map and try to gain some ground here. But normally, this is the hill that you want to hold, right? So if you're OpTic, like at this point in time, if you're an OpTic fan, it's not great where you're at right now, but you've got a chance, right? If you think when this hill popped, if you add another 50 points to this, it could be 209 to 170. And if that's where you're at entering the third set of rotation, that's not terrible. But Dashy cannot do this. The reason why this is so dominant of a hill is because you have a player like Dashy, as we're watching it right now, inside this P4 hardpoint. And if he's standing here inside of P4, he can get on a heady right here, and he can kill anybody from New York that tries pushing down this middle or this top side lane here. And as you're going to see in just a couple seconds, Clayster actually ends up just shredding him off a heady. Right here, Clayster is able to get that kill, which what that does is that just opens up the top side of the map. So again, as we're watching this, we said with New York how Clayster was here watching this top side lane. That's how you lock down P4. Now that Dashy just got shredded off of that heady, that's going to take that entire top side of the map where New York is spawning here, and it's going to allow them to push forward. It's going to allow them to get over here, and once you get in these locations here, now you can have contested gun battles as OpTic tries to get back over towards that top side of the map. All it takes is just one contested gun battle like that. That's one from Clay. And now it just opens up those lanes right here. Diamond Con gets the kill on Scum. Diamond Con gets the kill on Formal. He's basically not allowing them to get back into that P4 hardpoint. And he's able to do that because Clay ripped Dashy off that head glitch. If Dashy doesn't end up dying there, they can't push that top side of the map. So it's just some of those kills are so technical and they're so important. He ended up losing that one on the top side of the map. It opened everything up. And now OpTic's just now getting back inside that hard point, but 25, 30 seconds had already come up off the clock. Remember, we said when the hard point popped, it would be great for OpTic if they could get somewhere in the 170 range at the end of this hard point. They're not there, right? They're going to get to 155, but that's still going to put them down basically an entire 60-second hard point. It's just it's a decent job of getting back into it, but you can't lose some of that crucial time. Clayster's now towards the bottom of the map, and this is such a good job from Clayster. We talked about this right at the beginning of this breakdown, how when they come up off of spawns, this is literally the first point that I made in this breakdown. When OpTic is here, I've watched them do this over and over and over again. They push over here towards Catwalk. We saw Envoy do it, and Scump also does it. They push back behind to try to get these spawns for P2. And what do you notice right now? Who's the person that's making that's stopping that push? You just saw Clayster get a kill mid on Formal. Clayster's down here towards new P4, where P4 is going to be after this patch, and he's just watching this push and this push. So he's getting the cuts as OpTic tries to go from P4 spawn where they previously were to get inside of P1. He's getting that cut, and he's watching the cut back behind the bottom side of the map so that they can't flip spawns. It's just It's a really nice job of controlling the map overall, knowing different strats, like knowing where Chicago's probably going to try to go. And he's just able to lock it down. Not only do they have spawns for P2 and they have map control and you have everything else that you want to have at this point in time, but oh, by the way, they're still getting time inside of P1. Mac just got a kill on Scump. Mac gets a kill on Dashy. It's just every time it seems like, okay, this is where you have to clutch up and get kills. New York's the team that's getting those kills, and OpTic's the team that's not. Even right here, Formal was just able to win multiple gun battles on rotation. As we were watching that, right, we saw Formal. I think they switched to him right here in a moment. So he's able to get the kill on Mac. He then goes in, gets the kill on Diamond. Actually, Scump ended up finishing that kill on Diamond Con. So you think if this was the very first rotation, great, that's perfect, right? Formal flanked down towards the bottom of the map. He wiped everybody out. Now they've got this spawn so that they can get time inside of P2. But I got news for you. This isn't the first set of rotations. And as we go back and look at this screen, it's 155 to 237. And all New York now has to do is get 13 more seconds inside that P1 hardpoint. And there's 25 seconds left. So great. Formal's getting all of these spawns. They have time for P2. They're spawned where they want to be. But Clayster is inside of P1. Just got a kill on Envoy and Dashy. He's literally just sitting here. He knows they have to run at him, and they end up getting the win inside of P1. It just seems like if you're looking at like which team might be playing this a little bit better, I mean, it's great that Formal was able to flip there, but they just didn't do a great job of also winning those gun battles inside of P1. I'm not 1,000% sure what exactly was going on, but we saw in that matchup earlier, we saw OpTic win all of those gun battles against LA Thieves, and they're not winning them in this particular matchup like they did even on Thursday. And Thursday, when they had this exact same matchup against New York, it was a quick 3-0, and in this one, it's just not the same. So we're going to get into the Garrison Search and Destroy in just a moment. Let me go ahead and just try to get caught up on chat just a tiny bit. I'll just kind of start with the top, what I see here. Matrix said Dashy needs to work on his challenges. It's weird because Dashy has been absolutely shredding. I think he's by far like a top 5 in the league right now. This just wasn't a good map for him overall. Most of the time when we see Dashy, they're winning that matchup, and he just really wasn't winning it here. So we're going to start the Search and Destroy up in just a moment. But Shafale says Dashy was literally weak and still decided to jump top wing box. Like, bro, yeah. I mean, I think they're just so used to shredding in those scenarios that here they just didn't get those same kills. And New York came ready to play. Diamond Con was an absolute beast. You know, Clayster had that squad warmed up, ready to go. Justin says, what's your opinion on snaking? I mean, it's one of those things that you don't want to see happen over and over again, but how do you take it out, right? It's a mechanic in the game. You can't take crouching out of the game, so how do you fix it, right? There's no real way to fix it, so people are still going to do it. Yeah, sure, it's great. You can try to GA snaking and all that, but when it comes down to like Celium, and I just use Celium because that's the example that popped in my mind, but if it comes down to like a 1v1 against Paris in a Search and Destroy on raid over towards pool, top side of the map, of course he's going to do it because he's going to win that 1v1. He's going to get the defuse. He's going to win the match. I mean, it is what it is. Isaiah says OpTic's biggest downfall is that they get too cocky. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but at times you have to play with that cockiness, right? If you take that cockiness away from OpTic, you're probably not going to have a team that plays as well and plays as confidently as they normally do. So it is what it is. You can take it away. You can tell them not to be cocky, but that's going to hurt them also. What do y'all think about playing back-to-back like OpTic did? Do you think playing back-to-back? Coop, normally, traditionally, playing back-to-back like that usually ends up helping a squad, right? If you can come out, get a victory against LA Thieves, okay, Let's go. We're frying. We just got a huge victory. Normally, they're warmed up. They're ready to go. They've been on main stage. So normally that helps teams. Just so happens that in this scenario, they weren't able to win. Can someone explain what snaking is? Yeah, Joe. So snaking is basically when you're behind a head glitch. So like your eyes are barely above a head glitch, and you sprint forward just to get a tiny little peek and then crouch again. So it looks like a snake's head, like barely peeking up over a head glitch. So if you just see somebody like peek up and go back down, it's hard to win that gun battle, right? So it's like you're seeing a head glitch and you're popping up, going down, so that you can see who's there, but you go back down into crouch position so that you can't get shot. So that's kind of what was going on there. But let's go ahead. This was an absolutely dominant search and destroy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Again, you think that, going back to the matchup against Atlanta where they lost 12 rounds to 1, you kind of think, well, maybe this is the Achilles heel, despite the fact that they've played so well. And they played well against, LA Thieves earlier. They just didn't make it happen here. So let's look at the initial setup right here, just so we get an idea in terms of like where people are at and what strategy they're trying to execute. It looks like as OpTic comes up off of spawn, they have one that pushed through mid-map who's pushed up over here towards rails. And then it's a little bit interesting for New York. Sorry, I had the wrong color there. It's a little bit interesting that they have so many people stacked up right here towards the top middle of the screen. Looks like Diamond Con's up here on floating tank, and then they just have somebody underneath watching mid, and they have somebody up in top green just watching the push out over here towards lights. So looks like at this point in time, things have slowed down just a little bit, and they're just trying to get picks, right? And that's what Garrison is, right? When you look at this map overall, this lane right here towards the top side of the map, the middle, and down here towards this site, everything is so narrow that a lot of times in search, you're just trying to get a pick, gain numbers advantage, and then you can push forward towards a site and just try to play trades at that point. So you're seeing a little bit of a passive approach right here. And the other thing that hurts search right now is that, one, there's no smokes because of the one-ways, and two, there's no snipers. So if you had a sniper in Dashy's hands and he's sitting back over on back tank and he's trying to get a pick that way, that would help out their calls a lot. But the state of the game, we can't have snipers, we can't have smokes, anything like that. So it's a lot of just patiently waiting for somebody to make a move to get a pick. I mean, look at this. I mean, everybody's literally just posted up on a head glitch. It kind of sucks that this is the state of search and destroy right now, but it is what it is. You see Clayster, L trigger just barely sneaking up the map. I mean, it kind of stinks, but he just saw a little bit of Envoy's head right there. But even so, now they know that Envoy is over here in lights, but you almost can't push forward because the moment you do, somebody's going to peek out. He's going to end up getting a kill there, and now you're going to lose numbers. It's so hard to play the way search is right now. But as you're watching it, nobody's really moved. Clayster's still mid-map. The bomb hasn't really pushed up until right now. The bomb is pushed up, and this is where Scump should see this. So, again, as we look at this, bomb was here, pushed up just a little bit, and now bomb is up over here, basically right above the bomb site. So anytime you watch any of these teams play search and destroy, they always have somebody at this P5 location right here, just watching the push, whether it come from P1 up on top or through vents underneath. They've always got somebody on P5 watching the push. So as we go ahead and get back into this, now you're going to start to see things happen. Diamond Con gets the kill on Envoy, which opens up lights. Essentially, they know, or they can kind of, they don't know 1,000%, but they can assume that right now at least for the next 5-10 seconds or so, they're not going to be pushed through lights. The only person that can push through lights would be Formal. Clayster saw Formal back on back tank, but even if that happens, it would take a while for him to get there. So Mac has bomb. You can see top middle right now that bomb's going down. That's actually a big kill right there out of Dashy. The bomb gets planted, and if you're Chicago, I'm not sure if Dashy thinks Mac already got out. So this is one of those map specific things. Let me go back 5 seconds. As we look at this, if you're ever playing Search and Destroy on this map, you have to watch out for this guy right here, right? Now, a lot of the time they blow this up immediately, but Mac just planted, and that barrel right there, if you're in that plant spot and they blow up this barrel, you're going to end up dying. So it just so happens that they weren't able to, I don't know if they just didn't think to throw a nade yet or nobody shot it or whatever. But here in a second, Scump ends up throwing a nade, which you can see on the left. You can see the explosion on screen. You can see over on the left this little fire symbol. So Scump ends up getting that kill on bomb, but Asim gets a 2-piece. Asim had just been working the top side of the map, right? As we're looking at this here, Asim was over here up in top green. You're going to see this arrow just peek through P2 right here, come through bricks. He shoots Scump in the back. He shoots Dashy in the back, gets an immediate 2-piece, and at that time, now they're in a 2v1. So we'll watch this again. Scump gets the kill. Dashy goes down. Asim also gets the kill on Scump. So now you've got Asim and Diamond Khan. They know where Formal's at. Formal's the player that just plays all the way towards the back. We saw that the entire round. Most main ARs are always just sitting back tank. So at this point, they do a really nice job of just getting together. You can see Asim going all the way back up to top green. From top green, you can see the bomb location. So right there, I don't think he was spotted yet. Maybe right there he was. But look, really nice job of just playing patiently, peeking out, watching the bomb, getting back into cover. Peeking out, watching the bomb, getting back into cover. And at this point, there's 14 seconds left. So right there he shoots. Now he's getting tag team. Diamond Khan gets the kill. It's just a really nice job. Asim played super patient over on the top side of the map. This is where you're going to see it right here. Gets the kill on Scump, gets the kill on Dashy. And then he does check that back spawn. There's nobody there, so he goes back over towards mid. Really nice job overall of just being patient, waiting until they got that pick inside of lights on Envoy. Then Matt came forward, put the bomb down. They were able to play trades from there, and they got the round. And again, this is where we're at in Search. It really, this is a map that absolutely sucks to watch, but we're, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds into the Search round, and look at where everybody's at. This allows, as it plays right now with no snipes or no smokes, it doesn't allow for any creativity. You can see person here, person top caution, one under floating tank, one above floating. It's all the same thing, right? It's all just watching the push, watching these 4 lanes. It doesn't, I don't know. I love watching Search on like Raid or Moscow where there's a lot more strategy that goes involved. This just seems like let's just play patient, wait for somebody to make a mistake, and then we can try to play our trades and win the round. King says they really choked in 11v4. Yeah, we're going to get to it. That was kind of the story from this matchup, right? That choke that they had on Control. So we're going to watch it in a second. But this is a really smart move. They know that there's probably one person over towards top green. So when Dashy goes to check this, it's not a 1v1. Look what's coming. You have Asim, you have Diamond Khan, you have Mac, all about to push top green. What's the point of pushing top green? In Search, and even in like Hardpoint or any other game mode on this map, top green is a really big power position on this map. So even if they trade this out, say Dashy shreds a seam and he's able to get that kill right away, they're still going to be able to trade that, and there's nobody left in top green. So they're going to get that power position, and they're going to gain map control. This is actually a really aggressive take right here. I like what they did here. Get the kill on Dashy. Scump's got to come back. And now what that does, so Scump's underneath here. Sure, there's going to be somebody watching like these jump up windows right here. But what it allows them to do is it allows them to gain just another perspective to look down on the B bomb site. You literally just heard Miles say it. Miles said the B bomb site is no longer safe. You saw Mac get the bomb down on B because they were looking over top of him and they had all areas that he could get shot from under control. Now is not the same. Diamond Con just saw Scump's head right there, so they know where Scump's at. That's a really big kill right there from Envoy, but again, it's not safe. Diamond Con ends the round because he was able to get top green. I mean, it's exactly what we're saying. So all of a sudden, that trade is absolutely worth it because Diamond Con was able to get towards top green, and at this point, they have to get the bomb down, right? They don't have a choice. So Diamond Con looks out, gets the kill on Formal, Scump's underneath him, he gets a two-piece. It's so smart. It's just the way that they played this was so smart and so intelligent that they play the trade, they get control of top green, and now it's really risky to try to get the bomb down. So what can you say? I mean, it's not like they just got lucky and they hit a snipe here or there or whatever. Like that was an intelligent way to play defense on that map. They ensured that they got the trade over towards top green, and once they did, that gave them the ticket to go ahead and win that round of search.
Playing outside of green, it's all the setup for that three-man push of a play to go and bully out the control. New York right now are just problem solvers, and they're doing it in tournament time.
And again, it kind of stinks because last time we broke one of these down, we broke it down on Moscow was the search that we broke down, and you were able to see like the different defense setups, like everybody pushing right in the middle of P1 on Moscow, or three people stacking top A, one person in cutout watching globe towards the bottom of the map. When you watch this map, it just doesn't allow for that, right? It's just the same defense, basically the same offense setup. So this is the point where we're 20 seconds into this round, and this is normally where like I like to pause it, show you the setup, where the bomb's trying to go, what they're trying to do. And you can't really do it in this map.
Not yet. Just faith. John Connor, Sarah. Anyway, 2 up so far. Man, that was a great round. That was a really great round.
You can see right here, by the way, from where Asim is at, that Envoy is pushed up over here inside of vents. So if you look down to the bottom left, Envoy's over here towards vents. This is one of the potential ways that you can hit a flank, or you can try to get a little bit shifty based on what you're trying to do defensively. But even so, even if you get a kill down there, it's so hard to get out of there that sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's not. What do you know? We're now a minute into this search round. Nobody's really done anything because this map is terrible for search. Scump gets the kill on Asim. Scump gets the kill on Clayster. Really nice job top side of the map. What do we... I saw somebody in the chat say, yeah, Garrison S&D is just the B site right now. Yeah, it's impossible to go over towards A. I'm not sure if that was a response to somebody in the chat, but yeah, it's impossible to go towards A. You basically can't get through that top green choke point. So A is so far behind that top green choke point that it's impossible to go to that bomb site. I kind of wish in a way that they would move the bomb to, like, think about it. So just to kind of break down exactly what we were saying right here, A is all the way over here. So for New York to get to the A bomb site, first of all, they have to try to push out this choke point here. And if they're successful at doing that, now you have to watch the push from bricks. There could be somebody up top over here. I mean, it's so hard to even get through top green. But if they were to take that bomb site and put it like out on this platform here, now all of a sudden it would be much, even though getting top green is already super important as it is, now think about how important top green control would be, because if you have control of top green, you can basically get out in plan A, whereas both defense and offense can kind of get there at the same time. So, I don't know, just something to think about. But as it stands right now, you really can only go to one place on the map.
He's 5-0. He's playing for streaks. Maybe Mac will try to make some noise, but
Notorious says smokes need to be unbanned for A to be viable. Yeah, but I mean, even so with smokes, like you still aren't going to be able to get through that choke point. This was a really smart move right here from New York. They realized at this point that it's going to be impossible to get either of these sites. So you know what? Let's just take the round L and let's save our life advantage in case it does end up going to a round 11, so that at that point in time they would have defense on round 11. Just a really smart business decision right there. And these were huge plays out of Scump. Clayster probably figured that he could trade that out right there to gain control of P2. He just wasn't able to do it.
still for OpTic, again, you talk about maybe just a problem-solving situation on
Ooh, King says FaZe are also pretenders. They are getting 2 Ls tomorrow. Interesting. Those will be tough. We'll talk about those matchups once this one's over. I can't wait to break down that control because it was a complete and utter meltdown. We'll break it down. But, hey, by the way, this is now the 4th round of Search and Destroy, and what do you notice? They're all pushed to the same spot. You're trying to overtake the same power positions. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a lousy map to play for Search and Destroy. Really nice wall bang right there out of Clay to give them numbers advantage. And now it's 4v3. They can't really push through any of these choke points. So good luck. I mean, it's basically an L.
Doesn't actually get tagged up, but he holds those players back for now. Maybe one more punch for this one.
Dashy gets killed by Clay in the same exact spot. Mac gets a kill on Formal as Mac pushed out mid-map. Envoy's able to trade it. And those are actually 2 really good kills. But at this point, like we said, I've said this. I can't even really tell you how many times I've said this already just in this Search and Destroy, that on this map, you're literally the only thing you're trying to do is you're just trying to get a pick. And if you get a pick, then you're just trying to play trades. So even though right there, Envoy was able to get a really nice kill on Mac and follow it up with a really difficult kill on Clay, there's still 2 people left. They fly out of top green. They get the trade. They get the round win. I mean, it's how this map is. You're going to see the same exact approach here for New York. They're probably going to play patient. They're probably going to wait for a pick, and then they're going to try to push forward. Literally the same thing, right? Everybody runs mid-map. The only thing that's different here that I'll tell you real quick, the only thing that's different if we look at this is that the vast majority of the time you see Formal back here over on this tank just kind of watching this towards mid-map. So the only thing that they did is right off the rip here, they took Formal over here inside of bricks where I think this is A domination is, and they have him backing up Scump right here. So it's just a little bit of a different line of sight right here, probably because Mac was able to sneak through the previous offensive round and get a plant over towards B. So they moved Formal, they put him behind Scump, but that's literally the only thing that's different, and now I think Formal's going back to where he always is. Big kills right there out of Scump and Envoy. Envoy was underneath, was able to get the kill on Diamond. But again, if you're playing offense on this map, you have to try to get a pick. And then if you're not successful at getting a pick, you have to try to gain map control, and that's almost impossible to do. Matt gets a kill on Envoy because he was still over there towards Vents. Now all of a sudden you've got a 2v... What is this, a 2v2? 2v2.
these players are going to be around the B bomb site.
Oh, here they go. He does get the plant. Is the barrel going to explode?
Blow up the barrel, Scump. Oh, no. He just got timinged. Again, I'm not sure if they had a nade or didn't have a nade, but if that barrel ends up blowing up, just like we saw earlier, Mac's going to end up dying. I'm a little bit shocked that Scump turned away from. Let's go back to this for just a second. If you're Scump in this scenario, Scump sees the plant, right? So he gets a couple shots into both the barrel and into Mac. But look at this. Look at the map. If you're Scump, I don't know if he wasn't sure where Dashy is, but as he runs around, all he has to do is just watch the push from the middle of the map. He doesn't have to worry at this point in time. He doesn't have to worry about Mac pushing him through P5 because Dashy's literally right behind him. So when you see Scump get flanked from behind, watch. He's going to watch mid. He's going to peek mid, and then he looks back towards P5. You don't have to peek back towards P5 because Dashy's behind you. As soon as he does, Mac pushes him. Now there's two of them there. Dashy tries to get away, and at this point, if you're Dashy, there's 8.5 seconds left. You know that New York needs 5 seconds to plant, and Mac gets there. So right now, you can see at the top middle, there's 4.9 seconds left in the round, and the B bomb site has already started the plant. So Mac absolutely has enough time to get it down. So at this point, all you have to do, that's tough. See, so what Dashy's trying to do right there, Dashy realizes that if he's able to kill Mac as he exits the bomb plant, so if he's able to get this kill, that's going to put him in a 1v1. He ends up following that when Mac gets out of dodge. He's probably thinking, okay, I'm going to run right inside of P5 and try to get that kill. Clayster's already pushed up. He gets the kill. It's unfortunate. It's just, overall, that's just an unfortunate situation because if you're Scump, you didn't have to peek back towards P5 because Dashy was there. You have a 2v2. If you either get the kill on Mac or you don't peek back, you end up winning the round. That's tough.
That's in spite of the first blood that they get, all the map control for OpTic. Getting outplayed in the round and formal.
Let's see. Let's check in on the chat real quick. Literally, Matrix just needed a formal to be formed. Cam, if anyone else was going off, they won. Face played awful competition thus far. I ranked both NMS. I don't know. A lot of people I've seen a couple times here. Couple people in the chat discounting what Atlanta has done so far. Don't do it, man. That's a big matchup against Dallas tomorrow, but that's tough. Dashy does get that initial kill on Clay, which is good, right? If you're playing offense on this, you get that initial kill. Now at this point, just kind of make sure you're pushing together, playing trades, and you should be able to get a bomb down. We'll talk about that Atlanta-Dallas matchup as soon as this one's over. So make sure you also hang around for that. We've got the control coming up. We've also got that. Diamond's able to get a two-piece, and now all of a sudden, it was played right? If we're thinking about that play from Diamond Con, sometimes, like in the NBA and basketball, you just have to tip your hat and you say, it is what it is, right? Great defense, but better offense, right? That's the saying in the NBA. As you watch this, Envoy comes out. Diamond's able to get that kill. At this point, Scump knows exactly where he's at. So, sure, you end up losing somebody there, but as long as you can trade it, you still have numbers and you gained map control. As you watch this, Diamond also gets the kill on Scump. And now, remember that initial kill that Dashy got over Clay? Now it's not so important anymore. Dashy's there. Diamond gets him also. I'm not really quite sure what Dashy's doing. Let me go back just a few more seconds. What is... I don't know. Unless Dashy... So, I don't know. The only thing I can think right here is that Dashy's thinking, okay, Diamond Con is weak behind this tank, so I'm going to look over here towards bricks to make sure that I'm not getting pushed or I'm not getting doubled right here. And as he does that, he loses track of Diamond Con. Diamond's able to push forward, get the 3-piece, and that round absolutely, unbelievably falls apart. They know that Formal was up top, and all of a sudden it's 5-1. I mean, it's just a massive play, right? Scump has to get that trade, and if Scump doesn't get that trade, Dashy absolutely has to get that trade. You cannot lose 3 people to 1 player in search. You cannot lose a 2v1 in search, but losing a 3v1 in search, I mean, at this point, they have to be so demoralized. Down 5-1. They got the pick here. Dashy got the pick on Clayster. And look at Clay. This is what I love, man. Look at Clay up in the top middle. You can see that he's constantly calling out like what he wants people to do, where he wants them to go. That's why Clay's so good.
As incredible as he has been all year, the last time he played against OpTic, which you got to imagine, he's been watching these guys play for years.
Dashy has a mistake by thinking Diamond can't see him. I think Dashy just got a little bit too aggressive right there, trying to push forward, jump down, trying to sneak up and kill Diamond while he's probably trying to recover behind that tank, and he gets pushed, and he's not expecting him to be there.
This is map point. Take the lead in the series. Formal.
I will say, I do like this overall. So remember, last round on defense, Envoy was able to come up off of spawn. Envoy came up off of spawn. He was able to get bottom vents, and he got the first blood over here towards bottom vents. So instead of doing that again, he plays this backup, this kind of 2-person angle over here towards P5 by bricks. So I like the change. It's subtle, but they know that he was in vents last defense, so he just moves around. By the way, that control is coming up. So Asim gets the bomb down. Envoy ends up nading him, which is great. Envoy sees Mac. He's just not quite able to get enough into him, but bomb is down. And New York still has basically all the map control that they need once they got it down. At least they were able to get the kill on Asim. Clayster comes forward. Mac gets a kill. Mac gets a second. Oh, man. I watched this, and everything just falls apart so quickly. Like, if you're at this point in time, it's a 4v3, right? So Scump just gets terrible timing. Literally, just a half a second ago, Scump was looking over top of this. He didn't see anything. He goes underneath. He probably tells Dashy that there's nobody there. Clayster comes forward, gets the kill on Dashy. As soon as that happens, over on the other side by caution, P1, Mac's able to get this kill on Envoy. Normally, a kill like this is traded out in Search and Destroy. Formal comes forward. Again, normally this gets traded out. It's not. Mac gets a 2-piece. There goes 3 down. Scump's the only person that's left. Remember, Scump went underneath into that bottom trench. He pops up. He gets killed from behind. And you got a 6-1 victory. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you got it. Sometimes you make the right play calls, and sometimes you don't. It's tough scenes out here, man. But I figured going into this one, a team that hadn't lost control the entire season, I thought that this would probably be the route back for OpTic. Win the control. We all know how good of a hardpoint team that OpTic is. So you win both of those, and you take your chances in the map 5 search. Let's see. Mac fried Envoy donuts Formal. Yeah, that was no trades. They didn't play like OpTic. That's how. Sender is great for respawn, but he's shown to make very questionable choices for maps and vetoes. Tupac was the main reason SMD. Yeah, I do think that they probably missed Tupac a little bit being there to help them with search strats, but on that particular map, there's not really many strats that you can go through. So it is what it is when it comes to that map. I don't know. I don't want to blame Sender. I think he's doing a nice job. They're really good in respawn. On that particular map, you can't really blame strats. You just have to play trades, right? That map in Search and Destroy comes down to S&D knowledge. Do you play properly? Do you back up your teammates? Do you trade out kills? Do you play proper angles? On Garrison, that's what it all comes down to. And they didn't get the trades, right? Like that last one, Matt gets that kill on Envoy. Formal absolutely has to trade that out. He doesn't. The round before that, Diamond Con gets the kill on Envoy. Scump has to trade that out. He doesn't. It just, I mean, you can talk about strats and try to place blame and put it wherever you want, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, and you don't make the trades, and the other team plays better. It is what it is.
Let's do it, mate. We're going to see OpTic on defense first. Envoy with a nice one over the top of the plane.
All right, here comes the storyline, right? Here comes the dreaded control. They looked great on this map the last time they played it, by the way. I figured this was a for sure win. 4 down right off the rip. You figured this is exactly what they needed, right? Come out the gates, get 4 down, immediately start to assert your dominance. You figured, okay, here they come. They're back. You have back-to-back respawn maps here. They should be ready to go. I don't love the fact, there you go, that's a nice 2-piece. I was going to say, I don't love the fact that there wasn't somebody inside a plane, but Scump gets a 2-piece, Dashies does get traded, but even so, and I don't know, see, that's another thing right there. I don't know if I love that aggression overall. Let's go back just like 10 seconds. You end up getting those kills. I get that Scump's trying to be aggressive right here, but if you just stay put, you have they don't have any way of getting mid-map control. But when he pushes forward, right here, he ends up going down to Mac. And just in a second, Envoy, I mean, look at this map right here. Envoy's literally out in no man's land. He pushed forward right here, trying to get a kill on Mac. He wasn't successful. So as he tries to retreat to P3 to bottom plane, his back is, I mean, he's literally in no man's land. There's no way that he can get back. So what that does is now all of a sudden, if we go back and look at this map, look, right here, Formal's the person that's the furthest pushed forward for OpTic, and he's nowhere near mid-map. So if Scump and Envoy just kind of stay put, they would be pushed up here, and they're not giving up all of that map control to New York. So I get you're trying to be aggressive. You're trying to assert your dominance. You're trying to make plays. You're really trying to get ahead of the game here right off the rip. But now Mac was pushed up towards mid-map. Look what happened over towards the top side of the map. Now you have a seam all the way pushed up to A bomb site, whereas before, had Envoy and Scump still been up bottom plane, they could go about playing this a little bit differently, and they had no one mid-plane. So Scump's behind, or Clayster's behind him, ends up getting the kill on Scump. He also wounded Dashy, who gets traded out by a seam.
Make it easier for your teammates. Basically just ran all the way, gave up plane control instead. He wants to go for the objective. Now he just pushed.
That was that was a little bit overly aggressive from Clay right there. That was kind of interesting. Big kill from Dashy right there. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is just a solid round, right? They have the life advantage. They were able to win those initial battles, like kind of around mid-map. And now Clayster gets a 2-piece, and everything falls apart. I mean, think about how many search and destroy rounds we said the same thing. Now we're in control. Like, okay, you played that round fairly well. All you've got to do is just one more kill here. And as we go back, Clayster ends up getting the kill on Dashy. Formal goes down, and now there's nobody else pushed up mid-map.
plane now for OpTic. One player by Wood. Clay still going. 4 kills in a row. Now you can divert your attention towards that.
So at this point, this is a really nice job from Clay. If Clay stays on B bomb site, he's probably going to end up dead, right? If he stays underneath, which I think I was on the wrong scene, but he gets a really nice kill. I think it's off screen. Yeah, right here. Clayster gets a kill right there on Dashy, and he realizes that Asim just died up top. So there are 2 people up top. There's nobody else there. So if he stays there, he's probably going to end up getting traded, and it's just going to waste a life. So he decides to get off. He has 2 teammates over towards A. Let's just focus over towards A. He does end up dying, but I think it's a pretty sound decision overall. Mac gets a 2-piece. Everybody just starts running at them. They get those kills. Now all of a sudden the life advantage is basically back to even, and they have another minute on the clock.
OpTic, we'll see if they can keep track of all the players. Well, actually, Formal, well, he's going back to Old Faithful. You go up top, you get all the information.
Let's see in the chat. What do they say? Why is no one at right wood side? Looking under plane so the subs can play. Looks like Hardpoint. Certain control spots are literally chalked. Yeah, it's a little bit of a tough map. Again, map control is unbelievably important, right? Especially on control. If you have map control mid-map, the defense has to run at you through really long lines of sight. Whereas if you have mid-map control and you're on defense, the offense has to run at you through really long lines of sight. It plays the same exact way both sides, but DiamondCon gets a 2-piece right there. At this point, you know that there's only 2 others that are left towards mid-map. That's a huge 2-piece out of Envoy. Does get traded by Clayster. So yeah, it wasn't great. I think OpTic had an opportunity to finish that round and have a little bit bigger of a life discrepancy, but it is what it is. They still got the round win, even though it did look a little bit sketchy there at times. In my opinion, OG should have won it, but they just couldn't perform. Wasn't their day, but I believe by the next major, their mistakes are going to be minimal. Yeah, I mean, it's just tough. Every single one of these teams is so good that you can say, like, okay, they're going to fix it, they're going to get better, but so is everybody else. There's literally only 48 players in the entire league. So there's no, like, well, this team's 5th isn't that great or whatever. Everybody's so good that basically every single player in the league has the opportunity to clutch up, has the ability to clutch up, and a lot of times they do. Nice little listen in right here. 3 go down. See, New York's doing a nice job of... Scump's the only person that's been able to stay alive right there towards mid-map. And as soon as he went down, look at where all of these... I know we're in a listen-in, so my screens are a little bit off. But as we look at this, look how far right here. Look how far Clayster is pushed up. And look how far DiamondCon is pushed up. So since they both stack the top side of the map, they know that there's only a couple of lanes. They know that OpTic's going to spawn back here. So there's only a couple of lanes that they can really approach from this back spawn. So you can see that DiamondCon's hitting the top right side of the map to try to get anybody that flanks up towards the top. And now if you're Clayster with that main AR, you can get posted up over here and just watch the push out of the spawn. You can basically hold this entire lane down right here. Trico says, that's a big kill out of Formal, by the way. It kind of opens up that top side of the map a little bit. Trico says, also, how do you think Hydra would be in this? Replace Asim or Diamond? I don't know. I don't know how they replace anybody after what they're doing right now. My guess would be probably Asim. I mean, DiamondCon had like a 1.3 in this matchup against OpTic in losers, brackets, semis in a really important spot. I don't know. I trust that they're probably going to figure it out, though, right? That's what Clay does. They come in, they figure it out, they coach them up, they get ready to go. Massive 2-piece there from Asim. Pushes, it basically ends the push on the top side of the map. Dashy's the only person that's still alive. They know that he's right here towards mid-plane. They swarm on him. They have all the map control again. I mean, they're just making plays, right? If you, let me go back just a few seconds towards that kill that Asim had. So as we watch this, top side of the map, Asim ends up getting a kill right here on Envoy. And if Formal gets this kill, that allows, man, I can't zoom in on the map because of what they're in right now. If I zoom in, it ends up showing this Astro headset. But if they end up getting that kill, all of these green arrows can push the top side of the map. I know that Clay and Mac are still there. Clay's inside the hardpoint. Mac's coming up off of spawn. But right now, at this instance, they would have a 3v1 going in towards A. But Formal ends up losing this against Asim, who's weak. And they lost all the map control. I mean, at every map, whether it's hardpoint or search or control, like there's a point in time where if you clutch up, make a huge kill, that opens up a ton of space, open up a ton of routes, a ton of everything. They just didn't make it happen. Nice kill right there, but he's going to get traded by Clay.
One of the few teams that can make big offensive round wins, and so far, NYSL, they are holding OpTic down. 10 seconds remaining. There's an opportunity to get on the point. Maybe.
I mean, where are they going to go, right? There's 8 seconds left right now in the round. What site are they going to get to? Right there, Dashy ends up going down. So Dashy dies right here. But you have 8 seconds. How are any of these arrows here going to end up making it to a bomb site? Each one of those, there are subliner players just standing in their way. And the biggest thing is that New York was able to push up. How many kills have we seen New York get in this area of the map right here? That's the biggest difference, is that New York is pushed up mid-map, getting gun battles in these lanes right here. Whereas the flip side of that would be if OpTic's pushed up and they're getting kills in these areas of the map right there. Offense or defense, which one has control of midfield and which one is putting pressure on the enemy as they come up out of spawn? There's only one team this entire round that's been doing that, and it's been New York.
There's absolutely nothing they can do. They're just getting bullied.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Chance say it. There's absolutely nothing they can do. I can't wait till land so these AMs can prove themselves or show they can't hang in that environment, especially with Greenwall fans screaming. Ethan, that's actually that's a really good it's a good point. So the reason why Scump and Formal are two of the greatest players of all time is because when they're on main stage, when they're in the losers bracket finals with hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, and there's a live crowd and everybody's looking at them and they're in that environment, they play better, right? They rise to that occasion. There's some people that just do it, like Tom Brady in football, like Michael Jordan or LeBron in basketball, whatever, Steph Curry, whoever you want to say. Some people just rise to the occasion, and that's what Scump and Formal do in Call of Duty. So it's really easy for DiamondCon and anybody else. I'm not going to single him out. I'm not saying just him, but it's really easy for any of these rookies to have really good performances and play like how they normally do when they're just sitting at the same setup that they play at over and over and over again. It's a little bit different when everything's kind of on the line there. Clayster gets a kill on Formal. Again, Call of Duty timing. Sometimes it happens. Oof. And this, again, this is something that you didn't see, right? We didn't see this last round. New York on defense was pushed up, and they were getting all sorts of kills right here in this area of the map. What we're seeing now is that New York is getting kills in this area of the map when they're on offense, and now they can enter these sorts of gun battles. So it's just they're winning gun battles, and they're gaining map control, and that's something that you can't take for granted. Nice job out of Scump being able to get those kills back. And I actually just realized that Scump is 19-9. That was big. So just in case this isn't something that like you follow all the time, if you look, you want to pay attention. I know it's kind of hard to see, but down here at this number right here, Scump is on a 6 streak. And normally in respawns, especially like Hardpoint, if you get on a 7 streak, that's going to start to give you your streaks over here on the side. So that's why you hear such a reaction. I think it's out of chance. Let's hear it. I think it was Miles. So you just heard a little bit of a reaction there from Miles, because if Scump finishes that, he probably gets streaks, and streaks are enough in this game where if you need them at a critical point in time, they can kind of win you a round or so, and he just loses that gun battle. He doesn't get them. And yet Krim is getting carried by Hugh. Oh, boy. We got some beef going on in the chat between saying Scump's a GOAT getting carried, Krim's getting carried. Krim's playing okay. I mean, he's playing serviceable. He's not playing a top, one of the top 2 or 3 ARs in the league, but when you've got Hugh and Shotzi and those guys doing what they're doing at the moment, he's doing more than what he needs to be doing to make sure that he's pulling his own weight. Right here, there's only 6 seconds left in the round. Big kill from Envoy. That would have ended the round. That's, again, how, guys, just stop for a second and think about this. Whether it was in the Hardpoint or in the search rounds, or now that we're watching Control, we say you get a trade here, you win a gun battle here or there, that's going to end up going OpTic's way. As we watch this, Envoy comes through, gets this kill on Diamond Con. Look at the top middle. Right now, there's only 6 seconds left in the round. So would either of, with 6 seconds left, would either of these white arrows be able to get back over inside that A bomb site? Maybe, but they'd have to run through this open area, and at that point in time, Envoy could turn on them, or Formal or Dashy coming up off of spawn can turn on them. So if he's able to get this kill on Clay, probably end up winning that round. Literally 1 kill. And now Asim is spawn killing people as they come through spawn. They've got control of the A site. It's 1 kill, right? You just, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, so when it comes down to like predicting these, like you can say, well, what about this team in search, and how about how this person's playing or whatever? Sometimes these maps come down to 1 kill. Like, if Envoy gets that kill right there, they go up 2-1 in rounds. I don't know. It's so hard to predict. It just comes down to who's going to make the clutch play in a split-second moment and who's not. And this is just a fantastic job out of Asim. They know that Asim's pushed up. They're inside a B. And what this does, let me just show this real quick. What this does with Asim getting all these kills down towards the bottom of the map. So we just saw Asim get this kill. What it does by him getting these kills, and who is this? Diamond Con getting this kill right here. What that does is that allows Asim to play here. And as he's watching this entire cross. So what he can tell his team is that there's nobody over in this area of the map. Because he's pushed up, there's nobody there. So as they hop on B, they know they have to watch this push right here, but nothing else from this bottom part of the map, because Asim's pushed up and he's getting kills in that area. So literally hop on the site, watch this one line of sight right here, and everybody else can focus on this funnel as OpTic tries to come up out of spawn. It's just clutch play after clutch play after clutch play over and over and over again. Asim gets the kill on Formal, and just like this, basically 2 ticks are gone. Matt got a kill on Envoy. There are 2 people pushed up that can make a play. It's Scump, and there's Dashy is also here. Dashy ends up going down. That's it. It's over. If Asim ends up going down there, they can get pressure on the bottom part of the map. I'm not sure about that. I'm not positive. Let me go back. I get that they're really just trying to win the round here, and I know that he had 2 streaks to work with, but Scump and Dashy just died, and Formal was dead too by Seam. Listen, I'm not one to question Clay anyway whatsoever. I think this might have been a little bit of an overreaction. I get that they want to make sure that they win the round, but I don't think he needed to call this in. Yeah, I mean, sure, make sure you win the round. Might have been a little bit of a questionable decision, but 1 round away. I think there might have been... No, Envoy just died. I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the reasons in my head, like why he... Unless he didn't know where Envoy was, or... I don't know. We saw Scump die. We saw Dashy die. We saw Formal die. So unless he wasn't quite sure of Envoy's whereabouts and he just wanted to call it to see if he could get information, interesting. Trico says, I feel like Clayster is one of the most important people in COD. He's like a motivational speaker, and that's what's great about him. Yeah, Trico, I agree. I thought when Dallas first let go, and by the way, we're about to see this epic collapse, but I agree. I thought when Dallas let Clayster go, I thought they're by far, they're still going to be competitive, but I don't know if they're going to be the same championship caliber that they were last year. That's still yet to be seen, but I thought them losing Clay, I thought that was tough to, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think that's going to be tough to overcome for them. Nice opening kills right here. I mean, immediately that's all 4 dead from New York. Chicago's already pushed up over here towards A. You can see Envoy's pushed forward right here. He's watching the approach. This A site's already basically almost gone, which, by the way, kind of put this all together, right? Let's make sure that we're all putting this together. Had Envoy been able to secure that kill on Clay, they would have won that last round. They'd be up 2-1, and the round just started, and they basically already have A captured. Let's think about that.
The captain wins his gunfight there from the side of the cabin. Boy, now on the flank once again. He has been a monster.
I mean, it's 27-23 in lives already. They've already captured the A site. I mean, if you're OpTic, like right now in this moment, you have to be thinking like, okay, this is where we get it back, right? I mean, we're doing everything that we need to do. Diamond with a big kill there. Diamond was the only person that was really pushed up. Another big kill right there out of Envoy on a seam. Right now, there's nobody pushed up over towards B. Yeah, you get 3 people on the site. I mean, these things go by really quickly. And I don't get it. I don't. I don't know. I don't know what OpTic's thinking right here. Look at the minimap. They know everybody's dead. Nobody's pushed up. You have the opportunity to just stick 3 people on the B site, and you have somebody up top mid, right? You have your main AR up here top mid plane. So he can peek out this door, and he can watch this approach from the bottom part of the map. I don't know why they make sure that, look, they make sure that they secure this first tick, and then everybody runs off. Dashy's gone. Envoy runs off. There's nobody close. And why did Formal come back? Formal was pushed up over here towards plane. Why did they retreat to mid and give up all of this space here mid-map? Why not keep the pressure on? This is a little bit confusing to me.
point. That's going to allow NYSL to move on.
It's a really nice job of Envoy of getting the kill on Diamond Con, throwing the nade, getting the kill on a seam, and then he tries to stick his neck out and get this kill on Mac, and he ends up getting traded out by Clayster. But as he did that, Envoy die. I mean, this is questionable. I don't know. Most of the time, a lot of what they do makes sense. I don't know why they didn't just stick that cap right there.
Capturing B, that's the play right now for OpTic. The streaks are going to hold them back. The artillery barrage gets it done. You managed to just get on point for Diamond Con, and he wins.
Diamond Con with a huge kill. If Diamond doesn't get that kill, it's round over. And look at the lives. It was just 21-11 in terms of lives.
The tick. Can he keep this one safe? The contest from OpTic plays there. Diamond Con goes down. The trades are good.
Another trade comes through.
Coming forward. It's going to be a 3v1 on point here, unless the team can get a couple of kills.
That's a dogfight map control. Another artillery being called in. You are not safe under these wings at all. They're going to be
And there comes...
They have the map control. Keep in mind, though.
And now, guys, this is just... Oh, my God. Oh, man. It's just like at every single turn in this matchup, when something could go wrong, something went wrong. Tony in the chat says, should have rushed B and just held at that point. I agree. They had 3 people on B. Nobody from New York was pushed up past Wood. Just stick the point.
They have 9 lives remaining, so the map control is great, but this is...
Man, I would love to just hear from one of those OpTic members. And now it's too late, right? Even though they have a life advantage, they don't have any control over mid-map. We've seen this over and over and over again in this match, that right here, this is all contested area right now, right? We can see all these white arrows looking into these areas of the map. So we literally saw this on the first offensive round, that now all of this area, that big open space, is now contested. Oh, man, this is tough.
You got 4 players alive. This is now basically a round of search and destroy. Scump and Envoy get those first 2 kills.
Scump's been playing out of his mind on this map so far, 24 and 19.
Yeah, and that's true from Miles. Scump is 24 and 19. I mean, he's been playing great.
The entry man for OpTic. Dashi fighting for his life.
Guys, get on the point. Like this from Dashi. There's nobody there. Why? Right now, Dashi sees this, right? Dashi sees Mac. He sees Clay. He can't see a seam in here in the back, but a seam literally just died to Formal. So there's 3 people back there. Look at the control point. You've got 2 ticks in. Why are you challenging this? God, I hate this. This is tough, man. Diamond Con with another huge kill. Gets traded out by Formal, but then Formal dies. Scump's the only person that's left over towards mid-map. Guys, I'm going to rewind this, and I'm going to show it again. I'm going to show these last few seconds here. Seam with a big kill. There's no way he gets out. Scump gets traded out. It's an 8v4. Diamond Con gets a kill on Formal. This is I mean, this is a choke job, 1000%. There's no way around it. And now it's the same thing. It's the same thing we've been saying in every one of these offensive rounds here for OpTic, that all of this control, or all of this contested open area right here. We just saw Clayster get a kill right here on Envoy because you don't have a choice now. Now you're down to 24 seconds left overall. You have to run into this contested space.
Can get a kill. No one can buy a kill. Clay gets another. Seems good for now. Max finds another kill. There was less than 20 seconds.
And at this point right now, if you're OpTic, you gotta be freaking out, right? Big kill from Dashi. Now there's only 7 seconds left. Like, big kill from Scump. Diamond gets a kill. Diamond gets another kill. I mean, there's a ton of mistakes here. Let's go back. I'm gonna watch it again. I hope you guys don't mind. I have to see this. Envoy streaks. And this was even too late. Is this? Yeah, Diamond Con gets the. Again, this is where if Scump gets this kill, it's probably round over. They probably end up winning this round. Let's go back a little bit further. All right, let's play it from here. So they get A. And let's make sure that we pause it at this point in time when they have 3 people on the B site and they give it up. Asim's the last one that's pushed forward. Everybody's dead, right? You've got to be counting at this point in time. Look, Mac's dead. You have to be paying attention to the kill feed here. Envoy gets a kill on Mac. Diamond Con's dead. Asim's dead. There's 1 person left. Clay. Clay's dead. In the last 3 seconds, we just saw everybody go down, right? Hop the point. I mean, you can hear it right here out of chance. Frankly, if you're New York, I don't know how much time they have left. And they get the first point, and they go for kills again, especially with how Formal's pushed up right here. Formal, right here, watch the cross, tell them if anybody's coming. And if you die, fine. If you end up getting killed, so if somebody goes up backstairs and ends up getting a kill right here, now that might open up the jump off over here on the right side wing or to jump and kill them from behind. But if you don't die, you can watch this entire cross and you can turn around and watch the push through the top side of the map. If that happens, then deal with that bridge once you get there. But I don't know. I can't believe that they got off of it, and then from there it all kind of goes downhill from there.
That's going to allow NYSL to move on up, and here they come. Diamond Con right into Envoy, kill number 4 in a row. Nades up over the top. Asim lands on top of that one.
That was a massive 2-piece. This was a little bit unfortunate. If Clay doesn't hit these next 1 or 2 bullets, this is round also. Envoy, if he sneaks in and doesn't get killed by Clay, you can see that Dashy's coming from above him over top, right? Dashy's the number 2 arrow right in middle plane, so Dashy can get his push. Right there. Like literally like exactly what just happened. Dashy popped out, was able to get his push. Envoy invests the streaks. He does end up killing Mac. And again, Diamond Con gets the kill on Formal. Gets the kill on Scump. If he doesn't get that kill, that's game over. I don't know. I'm not sure I've ever seen something like this before. And this is where everything starts to fly off the rails, right? Asim gets a kill on Scump. Mac gets a kill. And you just heard Chance say it. They're talking about map control, and this is where we've talked over and over again about that kind of open, empty space to get back over towards B. I hate that. Also, literally just stay alive. This is the second biggest blunder here. Dashy, I don't know why he challenges this. Just stay alive. Literally, there's somebody on the point right now. Formal's on the point. So if Dashy doesn't challenge this, if you're Clayster and you're Mac, you have to run at the site or you're going to lose the round. They have to push these lanes right here. If they don't, the round is over. So if you're Dashy, why do you jump back up? Man, it's tough scenes out here. And then Diamond gets the kill. Formal gets traded out. The only person that's left up towards mid-map is Scump. And now the map control is basically all gone. Can't see lives remaining on New York Subliners because of your frame. Oh, New York has 4. Kingdom, what's up, my man? Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, there's 4 left. Let me see if I can move that real quick. There we go. Now you can see it. But yeah, part of the reason why this all happened is because of the fact that OpTic realized they had such a massive life advantage. So they figured, you know what? Let's turn this into SND just a little bit. Let's get the kills, and then we'll push forward, and we'll be able to finish the cap once we're there. But it's so hard to get through that open space that they just – now there's only 20 seconds left, and they have to run at the site, and they have to run into those less than 50-50 gun battles.
20 seconds remaining. You have to find something. OpTic can't find a single kill. Dashy finally breaks the spell. 10 seconds remaining. You have to make the contest. You got to go forward. Almost got to check.
And at this point, they have one last chance.
Now taking the top plane. There's the first kill. The second, maybe if he can grab it. No contest. Still 2
Diamond Con gets the two-piece right here. I mean, Diamond Con was unbelievable. The fact that he played in this. Yeah, Chris says sold right 3 big. What was that? What was it at Dashy? Yeah, what was that with Dashy's jump chow? Should have just traded it out. Why didn't they stack the points? Dashy literally could have given them plane control. Guys, I know. That's it. I mean, it's an epic collapse. Look at how pumped they are. Look at Clay. Look at Clay, man. He's just that's what makes Clay great right there. Yo, Asim is hyped too. Let's watch that last 10 seconds. Look at Asim. Dude standing up. He's still got his purple Minnesota rocker chair there. Good for them. Eric Louis says, send this vid to sender. It's a great break. Yeah, I mean, they know. They know what they did. I'm sure. Listen, that's the thing. We have the advantage of hindsight, right? We can look back and say, why didn't they do this here? Why didn't they do that there? Whatever. We can look back. We've got hindsight, so we can kind of see what's going on. I'm sure once they read it back, once they watch it back, they're going to make the same decisions. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately it was just a series of poor mistakes, that bad decisions, and reads one message from chat, doesn't read it. Hey, man, I'm trying. I'm invested in the map here. I mean, we're working on it. I've only live streamed like 2 or 3 times, so we're getting there. That man dropping. Scum played great. Hope he carries that over. Every OG player admitted they got simply outplayed start to finish. Yeah, and they did. Kingdom, I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but a bunch of times we said in the Hardpoint, in the Surge, just trade things out. It's like simple plays. If they just make the trades, if they just make the plays that they make 98% of the time, then they I don't know if they win the Surge, but they end up making it really close. They absolutely win this Control, and you've got to love their chances if it goes to another Hardpoint. I mean, I don't know. They just didn't make the plays. Give credit where credit's due. Play kills slot them. The kills don't matter if you lose the round. OpTic lost. Yes, they did. Breezy says, I appreciate the effort. Hey, man, we're getting there. But with that, I love the conversation. Same exact thing tomorrow night. All right? Tomorrow night, we're going to break down one of these. I don't know which one it's going to be. We've got Atlanta versus Dallas, and then whoever ends up losing that, which I think will probably be Dallas. That's what we said on our podcast. I believe when I was on the podcast this week with Kingdom, with Lando, and Ashley actually ended up, something happened with her internet. She wasn't there. But we all ended up saying that in this matchup, we think Atlanta's going to win this matchup. So we're taking Atlanta here. We'll see what happens. But we got Atlanta versus Dallas, and then we've got whoever loses that drops to the losers bracket. Probably going to be New York versus Dallas. Could you guys imagine that? Could you imagine oh, man, I didn't even think about this. A New York versus Dallas matchup in the losers bracket finals for a chance to make it to grand finals. What the heck? Tomorrow's going to be hype. Just to show you guys that real quick, let me see. I think I got it right here. Yeah. So I don't know why this isn't updated all the way. Winners bracket finals, we already know. Yeah, for some reason the pick'ems aren't updated, but essentially right here you've got Atlanta and Dallas, and now you've got New York here. So you've got Atlanta versus Dallas. I personally think Atlanta is going to win this to go on to the major final. I think Dallas is going to end up dropping down here to play New York. So you've got Atlanta versus Dallas to start the day. And then you've got New York versus Dallas in the losers bracket finals. And then whoever wins that goes on to play in the major finals, which I have no idea. I don't even know. I literally don't even know who to pick at this point in time, because I think everybody would agree that we would write off New York at this point already, and they came through. This is a heck of a storyline right here, New York versus Dallas. So we'll see what happens, but same time, same place, tomorrow night. Make sure you guys come on in, and you're here for that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. These are fun, man. I didn't really expect so many people to be tuning into these, but I've been having a blast. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow night. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're new around here. Enjoy the final tomorrow. A ton of great matches. We'll be here to break it all down. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. See you guys.